If you got the whole canvas, why you praying? If you got the whole vision,
that's good.
What do you need God for?
Get around those obstacles and make room to create opportunities. You are listening to the Around the Way podcast. And now, your hosts, Kyle King and Kiana Williams.
Welcome to another episode of Around the Way podcast, where we help you get around your obstacles and find a way to redesign your life. We have one of the GOATs in Charlotte in the building, Greg Jackson. How you doing, bro?
I'm humbled that you just said you got one of the GOATs in here. I appreciate it, though.
I know we was talking about something crazy before, so we're just going to circle back around so that we can kind of cover that.
I mean, full-time dad life.
How you're neglecting your daughter right now.
No. In the name of Jesus, no. Full-time dad life, full-time entrepreneur, full-time activist, full-time.
If you could choose one title to really describe the most important title for you, what would it be?
Man of God.
And why is that the most important?
Because don't nothing happen without God.
Facts.
That's my values. That's my morals. If I go by that code. So that's how I stay on my righteous compass, man. That's it.
I feel like that's so important, man, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in our generation, are moving away from the importance of faith, or are moving away from the importance of God, or moving away from values. Mm-hmm. So how is it, as you're continuing to rise in your career, with your community activism, with everything that you're continuing to do, capital campaign, we're gonna hit on that with, everything that you're doing with your nonprofit. How do you ensure that your values stay intact?
A lot of self-time, man. A lot of self-care, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of looking at my progression, my elevation, a lot of accountability, and making sure that I'm always having clear judgment upon myself, being in a sound and sober mind while I'm judging myself. And it keeps me, family, my kids, my mom, family keeps me in line, having a good advisory team, people above me, always having leadership above you, and that keeps me in check, my morals and my values. You got to have people around you that's willing to tug your shirt and just be like, yo, that step right there probably wasn't the best step to do. I've been there, I've done that. That's not cool. Or have family around you to say that's not what we about.
That's an interesting perspective, bro. And I appreciate you even saying that. I think one of the things that I really respect and value about you is that you definitely give a lot of counsel, you give a lot of advice, but in a lot of our conversations where maybe advice is being mutually shared, you're able to receive it. And I think oftentimes leaders or people in positions, they can give it, but they can't receive it. So could you talk to me about the humility aspect that it takes to being able to lead a community or a business or an organization, but the importance of the humility aspect as well?
Yeah, so an OG always told me, every leader has to follow the plan. You have to be able to follow something. You can't be in leadership position all the time. It's impossible for you to grow. How do you elevate if you always a leader? If you don't have nobody that you can go behind? So I always make sure that I got to follow the plan. God has me on a specific plan and a specific mission. I have to follow that. That's the humility right there. That's the humbleness right there of me knowing I'm not in control of this. None of my talents got me here. The grace and the anointing that's on my life got me here. My talents is what God has made room for. Yeah. It helps me excel in every room that I go into. But I didn't get me in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Somebody asked me that the other day, bro. And I think conceptually and theoretically, it's, we do operate in God's timing and a lot of the opportunities that we receive. And God does open doors and we have to step into those doors and be ready. But if somebody was honestly to ask you, in a step-by-step process on Greg, I see you in the room with Hugh McCall. I see you in the room with, Smudgy. I see you in the room with all of these leaders, whether it's political activism, whether it's business leaders. How do I get into these rooms? What would be your advice to that person?
How do you get into those rooms? Man, listen. So I was going through growth, right? And another OG, an advisor, looked at me and said, there's gatekeepers here, okay? They're going to get you in the room. Like, There's gatekeepers here. Yes, God has time, and God's gonna use somebody to get you in the room, right? My job when I get in the room is when you get out your seat to go to the bathroom, I have sat in your seat and I have said so much that God want me to do that by the time you get back, they're not gonna want you to sit down no more. They're gonna say, yo, Greg got that seat, pull up another chair. Greg's at the table now. So I'm very aware about every room that I'm going into. I'm very aware of why God put people in my life. I don't burn bridges. I don't do that. I'm always making sure that I can collaborate and partner. As I always tell you, it's about relationships and results. You know, if I build a relationship with you, we should produce fruit. We should produce some type of results. If we do results together that are genuine and true, we should produce a relationship. Those results is a moment in time. We set the record right there. So we can always go, as friends, we'll always be able to go back to that time and say, yo, this was a pivotal time in my life. Relationships and results matter. Some people don't care about that. And they think they're going to make everything happen. Somebody's going to get you in that next room. You got to build a relationship with those people. You got to be able to perform results with those people because that's what's going to get you in the room. And after you get in the room, your talents will make room for everything else. People are going to be, they're going to be addicted. They're going to want to get the next to you. They're going to want to find out what is this thing on you.
That's
for me, the thing is just, I'm anointed. God got a plan for me. That's my thing. So if you anointed and you got God in your life, when you get around me, you're going to feel it.
Fact.
There's nothing that you can do. This Holy Spirit's going to move and you're going to do something that you didn't even plan to do. I'm going to do something that I didn't plan to do. Because it's the relationship. We're going to build this relationship and we're going to make this happen. I'm going to open up a door for you. You're going to open up a door for me. How is this going to work out now?
That's powerful, man. Because I think about every major move that I've made, there was a relationship that got me into that door. Guarantee it. Like a lot of people see the success. They see all of these different things. But I could literally, on probably a lot of hands, just point at people that maybe made an introduction or sparked an idea or connected me in an email thread with someone or just sat me down with someone or something that led to something. And then my talent or my vision or all of those other things allowed me to actually produce. And I think there's two parts. Being ready for the opportunity, being genuine, being kind when you're presented with the opportunity. But when you actually get it, you got to perform as well. You have to allow your talents to outperform what these people's perception of you was. But you said something earlier when I asked about how do you get into these rooms or, just your self-discovery. You said you have to judge yourself. When you think about the relationships that will help you produce results today, how are you measuring the actual people that will allow you to continue to move in your stride as well? Because you meet a lot of people on a daily basis and you can't build essentially relationship with everyone. So walk me through, I guess, your measure, your strategy on how you actually say like, look, this is a relationship I want to plant a seed in. And this is a relationship that I maybe necessarily can't plant a seed there.
Faith and work. Faith and work. I would tell you, I got faith in God. But it's not just faith. It's faith and work. Like it's me recognizing God puts people in my life for a specific reason. I do not know why. It's my job to be able to pray, fast, go through my Bible. It's my job to be able to analyze you and figure out why you in front of me. Why are you in front of me? I don't know why, right? Yeah. So I'll pray on it. I pray on that. I do that with everybody that's in my life. I pray on why you here. I don't know. And then I do work. I build a relationship. I can only make an attempt to work with you, right? So if I make an attempt to work with you and you make an attempt to work with me and we work together, that's works. I'll figure out if you're supposed to be here. If so in discipleship world, that's it. we call it red light, green light, yellow light, right? If I'm trying to speak the word with you and you are an absolute person that is declining everything that I'm saying, you're a red light. I don't need to further this conversation. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna argue. This is not gonna work. If you're a yellow light, you're somebody that gives me a passage. You know, you give me a little bit of light. I see a little potential in you. I can kind of put it on you a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? I could push it on you a little bit and you'll receive it. If you're a green light, me and you are in the same room. We're two peas in a pod. Exactly. Oh man, yes. You know, Jeremiah 17:8. Oh God, that changed we're going back and forth. I automatically know I can grow with you. So I gauge people like that. And that's how I want to build a relationship with you. And we move from there. So I pray on what you're supposed to be in my life. I measure by if you are inviting to what I'm talking about. Do we have the same values and morals? And if we do, we start working. And then God does everything else. You know, we have faith and we work.
That's good, bro. I love that. And anybody listening right now, you have to have the faith because just like Greg said, you don't know why people are entering into your life. But give it a chance. Obviously, do your red light, green light, yellow light assessment prior.
Yeah.
And continue to put seeds out there and allow that other person to show you through the work that you guys do together, through that relationship, if you can produce results. And one of the things that I really love, man, is that you're not just communicating this on a podcast or on a news, show or anything. You're actually doing the work. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're working on now and how Heal Charlotte has some $10 million plans in the future?
Okay, before we do that, I want to address results real quick. Yeah. Okay, because people will hear results and say, "Oh, I'm not trying to get anything out of you. If you my friend, you just my friend. Like, I ain't trying to get out of that." Results just aren't monetary things. All right, I don't mean as in results as we got money together, results, we own something together, we do business. That ain't just results. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Results is I have sowed a seed into you in some type of way, right? And you have grown.
That's good.
Results are not monetary. They're not materialistic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I need friends that are going to be able to make me a better person. The materialistic stuff comes with the relationship of me and you being friends and doing business together. Yeah. That happens. But if you don't help me elevate as a person or business or organization, then that's what I'm talking. That's the fruit.
I'm really glad you said that because oftentimes two people have two different perspectives on what results looks like.
Yes.
And oftentimes in my past, I would look at a lot of relationships as transactional. If I'm not getting you bread, I'm not giving you results. But maybe I'm giving you an opportunity or exposing you to something or maybe just teaching you something and I don't even see it as valuable or even vice versa. You know, so I think, could you talk a little bit about how the importance of communicating that at the front end of a relationship? Like, how important is that? Like, look, I'm not here for just a transaction. I'm here to elevate you as an actual human being.
Yeah, you got to talk about outcomes. You have to. Like, all right, we're going to do this together. We're going to serve the youth and we're going to serve 50 kids. And this is how we're going to do it every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 6:30. Our mission statement is to give enrichment to young African-American kids that are in low income areas, right? That's our mission. What's our outcome? Is the conversation that we need to have. Mission, outcome. What's the outcome? Well, we want 50 kids to graduate with 4.0. All right, I need to know that.
Exactly.
I need to know that, you know? Well, out of this relationship, I just want to know, I need to know the people you know. I need your social capital. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody. Yeah, we both know I got a great idea, but I don't know nobody. Exactly. You know people, right? What do you want from me? Yo, you got a great idea. I'm not a visionary, but I love your idea. So that's our outcome. Our outcome is you want the vision. You don't have the vision. I don't have no social capital. You got it. Our outcome is to combine these two efforts so we can do blah, blah, blah. That outcomes have to be, if we don't know the results of what we're doing, then, I mean, come on. We got to at least have a hypothesis about this is what we want to do together.
I think it takes a level of vulnerability too, because even just what you said, like, look, I'm not good at this, but this is what I need from you. I think that's where we make mistakes, bro, is you're so prideful or egotistic, or you think you got all the answers, where really you're not a visionary. Right. You're not a leader. You need a leader to come help you. Exactly. You just have great work ethic. That's all. But you need somebody to lead. Or you're maybe not compassionate or empathetic. That's why you can't.
Shout out to all of the OGs in my life. I swear they dropped so many jewels on me and they continue to do it to this day. Shout out to OG Barry Shipp. Barry Shipp said, listen, yo, this is the first time I met him. And I'm telling them about the hotel and blah, blah, blah. I'm just spitting all this stuff. We're going to buy the hotel. We're going to do transitional living, social entrepreneurship. You feel all on one location, blah, 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 blah. He said, listen, young bro, you have a vision, but it's not the vision. You work for the visionary. You work for the master creator. If you admit and you submissive to the thought that you work for the master visionary, how can you have the vision?
That's good.
You have a piece of this Picasso.
That's good.
God's putting people in your life that's going to put the rest of the paint on the picture, on the canvas. You ain't got the whole canvas. If you got the whole canvas, why you praying? If you got the whole vision,
that's good.
What do you need God for?
That's
so to all my creators out here, I mean, I'm from the music world. If you go in the studio, the rapper ain't by himself. It's a producer, an engineer, an A&R. You got a piece of this vision, bro. You just got the lyrics. You just got the music. You can't promote it and market it and put it on this. You can't do all of that. So you don't have the whole vision. And it was a real humbling experience. I had to sit there and listen to him and be like, you're right. I don't know what God has intended. I know God has given me the vision of we need to turn already used buildings into affordable housing. We don't need to continue to keep doing ground up construction. God has given me that vision. Am I the one that's supposed to execute it? I don't know. Am I the one that's supposed to put the operations together and the one that's supposed to raise all the money? And I don't know. I have no idea. I know God keep putting people that do housing around me. That ain't no mistake. They can talk about this way better than I can. They know how to go in those rooms and talk to lawyers and businesses. I know how to give you a compassionate spill about why this is affecting my community and why this needs to be done ASAP. Can I go through the P&L with you and make it make sense to somebody that wants to give me $1 million right now? No, but Dr. Shantae Williams can. Dr. Hancock can. And they will give it to you in any other realm that I can't give it to you. That's because that's their piece to the Picasso. So everybody has to humble themselves or running around in this nonprofit world like they got the answer to save humanity. Nobody has the answer to that. Nobody's name is Jesus. Nobody has the answer to that. Everybody sit down, take a second, and realize you're gonna have to work with countless people to be able to get the outcome that you want. And that's for equality, justice, and for everything to be spread out equally between all races, ethnic backgrounds, religions. It doesn't matter. Everybody's supposed to have an equal shot at the table. You do not have the answer to that. You got a piece of the answer.
So talk to me about that. This is good, bro. This is good. Finding a piece of the Picasso. That actually may be the title of the podcast.
I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah, I like that right there.
Talk to me a little bit about your piece that you're contributing. $10 million, that's a hell of a piece. So talk to me a little bit about the capital campaign and everything that you're doing and how we can support.
Yeah, so my piece is service, right? My piece is serving my community as fast as I can, making the greatest impact that I can possibly make, right? However God is going to use me, but making sure that it is at its full capacity when he uses me, right? That's what I do. And in that realm, I'm serving the community of 85 in Sugar Creek, District 4. That's where I'm at. That's where I do a lot of my service. We started off with doing youth development, recognizing that, youth development isn't the answer. It's not just the only answer. It's family stability. It's not just family stability. It's financial stability also. Like all of these things play a part. And as I was wanting to do stuff on a macro level, I had families falling into homelessness. And that's nothing that you're prepared for as a mentor of children. You're not expecting to lose them to eviction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you start working with families to help families keep their finances together. Then you realize me as an organization, I'm telling you that you have to own where you live at. This is exactly what I'm telling you. You have to own where you live at. And then I'm telling you, you can't live check to check. That's unhealthy. You can't live like that. But then I turn around as an organization and I don't own the building that I live in. I can't serve you when I want to. I got to go to massa. I got to say, oh, excuse me, Rec, can you open up the door so I can serve, please? I want to do it from this time. Is that okay? From 3:30 to 6:30. How can I serve kids if I got a roof over, if I got limitations on me? And I know I need unlimited resources to be able to serve the kids that are going through what they're going through. They're going to call me at 11 o'clock. That's going to happen. They're going to call me at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're going to need a ride. Some of them aren't going to want to go home. I can't just go to a door and open up a key and say, yo, the rec center's open. That's a problem. And it's a contradiction to what I tell my families. Then I tell my families they can't live check to check, but I live grant to grant. I don't think that's healthy either. It's a contradiction to tell you you can't live check to check, and I live that's check to check. I live from program to program. That ain't healthy. You're not going to be here for 25 years serving this community, living grant to grant. That's not how the big dogs play. They own buildings. The YMCA own their buildings. They own their land. Nobody can tell them what to do. If they want to open up their gyms from 7 to 11 on weekends for the summer, guess what? If they can afford it, they will. They have figured out to make memberships so they don't have to rely on just grants. They have found a way to bring in revenue without depending on the parents, without depending on the government. It's like, yo, let's bring in revenue. Let's find a way to do this. Why don't we do this on a local level? Why don't we do this in grassroots? Why are we just program to program to program to program? People ain't the problem. I don't have to program you. I have to put you in an environment where you can thrive. That's where you need to be at. You ain't the problem. The system that you in is the problem. So all of us are programming people and throwing them back in the system. I've built you up. You got confidence. You got pride. You know who you are. Ha 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 ha. And then you go back into this system and you run into the same thing. It might happen 10 years later, but it happens. The problem is we don't own nothing around where we sending these babies at.
So how is your system going to be best for our community?
It's a community project made for the community, by the community, owned by the community. It's projects that don't exist. Not saying that there's none around throughout this country, but they are very small. It's a small population of organizations from the local level that go in grassroots and climb from mid-tier to high-tier that think about ownership. And that's the only way we are going to be able to control the things that come into our community, is if we own it. You can't buy up this land if I own it. You can't tear down that building if I own it. You know, it's something that we're playing with in the world where we call it black gentrification. We ahead of gentrification because we're going to own it. That's facts. You can't tell us how we're going to move our neighborhood. So that's what the $10 million capital campaign is. We found a hotel that's $6.5 million. It was $3 million before they bought it. They put $3.5 million of renovations inside of it. It is brand new from top to bottom to 2019. From the boiler to the roof, everything is brand new. 2.5 acres of land, 120 rooms that we want to be able to use for transitional living. There's about 1,500 square feet space that is downstairs that we can use as a youth development center, as we can use it for a business co-working space that social entrepreneurs from in the neighborhood can come and actually feel home and really do business inside of the home, inside of where you feel home at, in your community, where you serve. So you can walk outside and see your people and say, I got something for you. That's the difference. That's the difference in the programs that we're running, and we don't do anything by ourselves. We work with other community members. We ain't the only voice in this project. We got so many more community people that's out here from other organizations that are waiting for us to acquire this piece of real estate because they know they get a key. Exactly. They know that. They know they get a key. They get to come in, they get to work and make this thing happen. That's the thing that's missing. That, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have been able to see that. COVID set me down and made me see where I was important at. and where Hill Charlotte needs to be.
How can we as a community, we as a podcast family, just we as people support this amazing vision?
Just don't fall asleep at the wheel. If you choose that you're going to promote and you're going to support, don't fall asleep tomorrow. Don't post it to tomorrow and then not post it ever again. Don't go in your rooms and speak to your donors or investors one time and never do it again. I tell everybody, this protest is 365 days a year. You don't get to fall asleep. As soon as you're aware, you're immediately responsible. You don't get to fall asleep on it. You don't get to march one day and then not march in other ways for the rest of the year. As soon as you decide to pick up your, whatever you got, your sign, your bullhorn, whatever you decide to pick up that day, you've got to wear it like a uniform every day. So if you're going to choose to support or choose to be around, donate, invest, I tell all of the donors, if you're going to donate on a higher level, make sure you do a legacy donation. If you got millions of dollars coming, it's multi-year funding that says, I believe in this. I want to put my flag down if that's what you want to do. But do that. If you're going to promote it on Instagram or Facebook, do it one time out the week. Do it 3 times out the month. But make sure you don't just do it one time. Stay aware. Stay awake until this happens. Because the opposition is used to us falling asleep. They're used to that. I've literally watched us march in the street and then there's be cops on the side like, this will be over in 3 days. They looking at this will last for a little while. There's an opposition out there that knows we're going to go back to sleep. And they're waiting for us to go back to sleep so they can go back to business as usual.
We were on at the Stop the Violence Summit. You said, the gentleman that was interviewing asked you, how would you describe the opposition? And you pretty much, I'm going to paraphrase it, you said anybody that doesn't support, what's best for our community, essentially what's best for our children. Could you give more so of your definition of who that opposition is? Because oftentimes somebody listening may even be that opposition and look like us, So who is the opposition?
So when we talk about the opposition, I'm literally talking about white supremacists. Anybody that is behind the structure of this country, the way it is currently running, right? If you are behind racism, white supremacy, these institutions that continuously keep communities marginalized, if you are about voter suppression, anything that is not about the productivity of African American people in this country, you are the opposition. You are the opposition. And I make that very clear with anybody that I talk to. If you're straddling the fence on this, you're the opposition. The voter bill just tried to go through. We had a 50-50 nil. Everybody that didn't vote for it is the opposition. The George Floyd Act, whoever's voting against it is the opposition. If you can't stand up and say the way this country is running is absolutely wrong, how it's been running is absolutely wrong, and there's nothing wrong with black people. There's something wrong with the system that black people are living in this country. If you can't say that and poke your chest out, you are part of the opposition too.
So what can the opposition do? What is something that they can do? It's interesting. I laughed because I was watching the Malcolm X movie a few weeks ago.
Nice.
And the white woman came up to him and asked, how can I support the movement? How can I support the movement? And he looked back at her and he said, Nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing you could do.
There was nothing she can do at that moment in time because it was all about black pride. It was all about us proving that we are a community that can move for ourselves.
Exactly.
I don't need you to do nothing.
So what can the opposition do, I guess, now? Whether it's by supporting organizations, grassroots organizations, whether it's through funding, whether it's through awareness, what can they do as a part of their own communities? Because I'm asked that all the time.
Yeah.
How can I, as maybe even a white person that grew up, maybe even very white, and not anti-black, just unaware, how can I support that movement?
And it really depends on what your profession is and where you are and how do you feel that you can challenge, but you always challenge. You always be tenacious and bold in your response and your approach. Make sure people can hear you and understand what you're saying. But you always hold people accountable. Always. And have integrity. I tell people all the time, have integrity. Do the right thing when nobody's looking. Not when I'm around, bro. Don't not say the N-word when I'm around, but you gone when you with your friends. You quoting Jay-Z and the Amigos, and the N-words popping out of your mouth all the time. Have integrity. Have integrity. If you work at the bank and you see that the bank just got $400 million for diversity and for community engagement, and you're in a leadership position, you should probably pay attention to the finances. You should probably pay attention to where the money is going. You should probably pay attention to who is going to be ruling over that money. If you're in education, you should probably pay attention to the suspension rate. You should probably pay attention to the school to prison pipeline. And you should probably make sure that every student that you serve has the right opportunities and resources to thrive at all times. If you're in technology, you should be worried about the digital divide. You shouldn't just be focused on, does South Mech have computers? You should be worried about, does Vance High School have computers? And do they have to give the computers back in summertime? Because I don't think it's right. I think they should be able to keep it. My daughter has hers all the time. Have some empathy. And it goes to whatever field that you're in, whatever institution that you work in. You should know that there's marginalized people here. And you should do whatever you can possibly do to make sure that that's not what it is no more. We should have a different conversation now. You know, it's 2021. You should be comfortable with going into your place of employment, and if you're in a leadership role and you can affect some change, you should do it.
I think this has been an amazing conversation, bro, and I appreciate you as always, even sliding through.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I have one last question. Something that I don't even know if I can bring up because it's still in the works, but I'm gonna bring it up so that I can push you to actually getting it done.
Bring it up.
We got a book coming out, The Fight Before the Healing.
Yo.
Can we talk about it? Is it ready? Are you even writing?
Nah, I'm writing. Yeah, I'm writing. Am I writing at the pace that you would write? You know? Nah, you're a super author. Nah. I'm writing a script. I'm writing a movie. You know, it's we're gonna start off as probably a play, and then it'll move to a documentary or a movie. The book, it's all about. I feel like when people change and when people have transitions in their lives, they always give you like these golden stories, these feel good transitional stories. And for me, it's been a fight to get towards the healing that I needed. You know. This wasn't no easy path. It continues to be a narrow walk. And I don't think anybody should feel like everything is peaches and creamy on this side of the offense, you know? I don't want anybody to feel like I can just go mentor kids. It's like, no, not every kid that you mentor that's from the neighborhood is just going to end up going to USC or UCLA and be top of their class. You might lose one. I've had 2 children die on me. One from a car accident, one shot in the head. That's not nothing. That's not what people talk about. I've had 5 kids with the ankle bracelets, you know, helping ministering them through getting locked up at a young age, right? It's not always good stories. I've had youth that live in hotels. These are fights. These are things that keep you up at night praying. So it's not just this golden little pathway to mentorship or to success. And I feel like a lot of people don't get the raw. Even about being a Christian, people don't get the raw. People get this little display of the perfect. And I'm sorry, this ain't a museum. This is real. This is hard work. It's hard to stay Christian. It's hard to be on a righteous path. It's hard to have walked this narrow walk. And I feel like people need that. People need to feel, oh, you human. Because I'm going through it and I'm looking at it like, I'm looking at you like, man, you must got it figured out. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this thing out like everybody else. But I want to be able to create a read for everybody that's just relatable, it's tangible. You can feel like somebody's going through what you might be going through, and it's also a preparation. If you ain't got there yet, this is what might comes, and here's some steps how to get through it.
That's good, bro. When's it gonna be ready? When's it gonna be launched?
If I tell you right now,
we tell everybody.
You gonna be I tell you,
we launching this episode, the next one.
Yeah. Look, I will promise this. It'll be done by the end of the year. The website's ready. Everything is gonna be ready to launch. We finalizing some things as far as like what the cover is gonna look like and stuff. But I'll be honest. I'm about 4 or 5 chapters in.
Hey.
And I've been there for like a good 5 months. I haven't been able to move and groove on it, man, but I'm definitely going to get into it. You know, I'm glad that you said something because now you're going to bother me about it.
There it is.
So that's good.
There it is.
Yeah, we get the book out.
Close us out, bro.
Man, I appreciate you, you know. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Keep talking about faith when you want to. Keep talking about business when you want to. Don't put no limitations on what you're doing. And if everybody does a little bit, nobody would have to do a lot. Figure out what your little bit is to make somebody else's life easier. You know?
This is Greg Jackson, Around the Way Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.